Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How are you all doing today? Let me get back in on my stream window. Uh-uh. It is another beautiful day to have some wired thoughts and talk about them. Something else that is on my mind constantly, and I want to be able to talk about it with people. Whether you also know about the topic or you're an expert and you can give your own feedback, anything is welcome. Or even if you just want to listen to this in the background as comfort, and who knows, maybe my voice is just something that you fall asleep to, whether you find it soothing or I just bore the crap out of you and it helps you fall asleep. Either way, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your view. Alright, so today I wanted to talk about droids and humanoids, which, if you've actually seen, are like the robots that emulate like what a person looks like. Face recognition, facial expressions, they walk like humans, they do tasks like humans, the whole kit and caboodle. But as I have noticed, there are not many articles or really videos really talking about that. Mostly articles. The ones that I see video-wise are ones of like sex toys, which, I mean, no judgment there. That is completely a different realm of what these humanoids could be. But that's not 100% of everything that I wanted to talk about with this. What interests me is what, as a society, are we planning for these humanoids or for these droids outside of the bedroom, especially, and also what they are going to do for the public, for the workforce, for any industrial tasks, such as manual labor. So I was kind of scrolling through, trying to get a gist of it, and I gotta say, like I said, there's not a lot, so this may seem a little jumbled up, but I there's still, from what I have seen, I have thoughts. I have a lot of wired thoughts, and I wanted to talk with everyone about it, and also for whoever had input. Let's talk about it. And let's go ahead and let's start with, I think, what may be the most popular to people right now is Tesla's version of the humanoid, or the Tesla bot, or whatever. They called it Optimus. This is as of October 3rd, 2022 by James Vincent on The Verge. And it is titled Expert Judgment on the Much-Hyped Tesla Bot, Elon Musk Speedruns Robotics 101. And I have my own thoughts and I have my own opinions on this. It is because I have had some research done, or I have looked into droids even before Tesla announced that they were going to come out with this robot. So here we go. It says, impressed by how fast Tesla's engineers assembled Optimus, but said the machine wasn't anything close to a breakthrough. Elon Musk has finally unveiled a prototype of a much-hyped Optimus robot, a bipedal machine that the Tesla CEO imagines will one day be sold as a general-purpose bot that's cheaper than a car and equally capable of working in factories and doing chores at home. Now, I have comments on that he said that it is cheaper than a car. Because what car are you talking about? There's actually a video further down in this article that is linked to them showing off the robot, and I will play it as well. But his comment, cheaper than a car, is for somebody of like my status and like pay range and everything. $20,000. I know there are still cars that are cheaper than $20,000, and he's gonna want. He was estimating around $20,000 for this robot, and I'm sorry, cheaper than a car. No, when he said that, I couldn't get past that. Maybe cheaper than your cars, but not cheaper than a car. The presentation of Optimus at Tesla's AI Day was laced with the usual Musk intoxicants of hype and misdirection. Somebody has opinions. And oh boy, all right. But it also offered robotics, an admirably deep robotics, whatever. People who specialize in robotics, an admirably detailed look at some of the machine's actual capabilities. Their judgment? That Tesla's engineers have done incredible work in such a short space of time, but that Optimus is still more hype than reality. A research robot that will take many years to develop into anything meaningful. Before we dive into the expert's opinion, let's recap what we saw. So, 2 robots were shown. The first named Bumblebee, a rough development robot, seen walking on the stage. And then there was also one that is more visual. Actually, instead of reading through this part, I would rather show the video for you. But afterwards of the presentation, in a Q&A at the end of the presentation, Musk repeated speculation that the bot could be like a friend one day, and said customers will be able to order one within 3 years, probably not more than 5 years, though it's not clear if he meant businesses or individuals. So if you haven't seen the video of him releasing it, we have it here in this article. What I'm gonna do is let me go ahead and let me lower my music so that we can play it. And of course, there are ads, because what is life without ads on the internet? It makes me wonder too, like when I watch this video and how he acts, I'm not at all happy. Let me see if I can raise this volume. Actually, let me just Hey Lauren, figure out your stuff here.
So I think compared to that, it's going to be very impressive. So should we bring up? Welcome to Tesla AI Day 2022. I do want to set some expectations with respect to our Optimus robot. As you know, last year it was just a person in a robot suit.
Alright, I'm gonna pause because I have to give commentary on this as well for fair usage. The fact that this is a multi-billion company and they put somebody in a suit to look like a robot and say, hey, we're working on something. To me, it's just poor practice. I don't like that. And the fact that he also is repeating it, to me, is just moving on.
But we've come a long way, and it's I think compared to that, it's going to be very impressive. So should we bring out the bot?
Before we do that, we have one little bonus tip for the day. This is actually the first time we try this robot without any backup support, cranes, mechanical mechanisms, no cables, nothing.
Yeah. I want to do it with you guys tonight, but it's the first time, so let's see.
You ready? Let's go.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta pause. The fact that there is impressiveness that, basically they've done this in a year's turnaround of having a person in a suit acting like this human droid that they're creating. And then within the next year, they have a droid ready. Super cool. But the fact that they have to put in there, hey, this is the first time we're doing it without braces, and, it's all out in the public for you to kind of make the crowd feel special, or at least how I'm seeing it, that they're trying to make the crowd feel special. Also is like, hey, give us the benefit of the doubt. And it makes me feel like it's an unfinished project that they maybe had rushed to put out, and maybe how Elon Musk shows in the video to me is like that guy in a group project that shows up to do his part of the project and had no other idea of what was going on with the rest of it. There it is. I mean, it's walking. Oh my gosh.
Moen, fill Ruby's bottle.
A lot of feeling that it gives to me. Sensation of vision, a place to breathe. The water.
I guess it's kind of it's kind of relevant to this video that we're talking about
Who
droids
designs for water?
because now we have smart faucets. Anyways, look at him go. It really brings a new phrase to doing the robot dance, honestly.
I think the bot got some moves too.
Just look at all of the wiring that's involved in that thing.
So this is essentially the same full self-driving computer that runs in your Tesla cars, by the way.
Oh, see, they use materials that are in your Tesla car.
This is literally the first time the robot has operated without a tether. Was on stage tonight. So
I will
the
say
robot
there
can
is
actually do a lot more than we just showed you. We just didn't want it to fall on.
Yeah, I wish they did show more stuff. I wish they were more raw, more honest with it. I mean, you're already gonna be honest, like, hey, this is the first time that we're letting it walk in public without any tethering. Let's see it do other stuff, honestly. But with the technology that they're putting in this robot, I will give them the benefit of the doubt, which is highly interesting is that they are putting the similar AI that is found in their cars into this robot. And they actually showcase what it looks like in this video presentation. And I was impressed with that.
On its face. So we'll we'll show you some videos now of the robot doing a bunch of other things.
Yeah, we wanted to show a little bit more what we've done over the past few months with the bot and just walking around and dancing on stage. Just humble beginnings, but you can see the autopilot neural networks running as is, just retrained for the bot directly on that new platform. That's my watering can.
Yeah, when you see a rendered view, that's
Look at
that's
how
the robot,
clear that is.
That's the world the robot sees. So it's very clearly identifying objects. Like this is the object it should picking it up.
We use the same process as we did for autopilot to collect data and train neural networks that we then deploy on the robot. That's an example that illustrates the upper body a little bit more.
What you saw was what we call Bumble C. That's our sort of rough development robot using semi-off-the-shelf actuators. But we actually have gone a step further than that already. The team's done an incredible job. And we actually have an Optimus bot with fully Tesla-designed and built actuators, battery pack, control system, everything. It wasn't quite ready to walk, but I think it will walk in a few weeks.
So there's two models of robots. There's the Bot C that they just showed that is able to walk. And then they have another version that looks more put together, but is not fully functional. That they're putting out for us to view.
But we wanted to show you the robot, something that's actually fairly close to what will go into production, and show you all the things it can do. So let's bring it out.
Do it.
Here we go. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks awesome. Like, it looks cool. I love how there's like there's a belt buckle right here. Of course they gotta give it a belt buckle. I mean, they're producing in Texas. And then look at the... Hey, look at it. That's better jumping jacks than me.
That we expect to have in Optimus Production Unit 1, which is the ability to move all the fingers independently, to have the thumb have 2 degrees of freedom, so it has opposable thumbs, and both left and right hand, so it's able to operate tools and do useful things. Our goal is to make a useful humanoid robot as quickly as possible. But Optimus is designed to be an extremely capable robot, but made in very high volume, probably ultimately millions of units, and it is expected to cost much less than a car.
I'll just bring it directly to the right here.
I would say probably less than $20,000.
Much less than a car. A little less than $20,000. What car are you driving, Elon? What car are we talking about here?
The potential for Optimus is, I think, appreciated by very few people.
Hey!
As
I
usual,
really wish
Tesla demos
Optimus was
come in
waving
hot.
as I rolled it off.
That robot that came out and did the little routine for you guys, we had that within 6 months. Built, working on software integration, hardware upgrades over the months since then. But in parallel, we've also been designing the next generation, this one over here. Obviously, there's a lot that's changed since last year, but there's a few things that are still the same, you'll notice.
All right, here are the
We still have
specs.
this really detailed focus on the true human form. So on the screen here, you'll see in orange our actuators, which we'll get to in a little bit, and in blue our electrical system. So in the middle of our torso, actually it is the torso, we have our battery pack. This is sized at 2.3 kilowatt hours, which is perfect for about a full day's worth of work.
So it's 2.3 kilowatt hours, and they're saying it's predicted to be a full day's of work. What are we referencing here? Because like our phones, our batteries are judged off of a certain amount of time that they can be used. For instance, like if you're using your phone as a phone, your battery usage is going to be completely different than if you are using your phone to search the web or if you are constantly streaming music. So if they're saying that this robot is going to be able to do so many different tasks, what are you generalizing that all day work as? Is it going to be walking around? Is it going to be moving packages like it just did? Is it watering plants? Like how far can it travel? How much weight can it carry and travel for it to be considered all day usage? These are the questions that I have. And then also, what are the materials that are used for the battery? I'm assuming because it's I'd have to double check further into the article, but I don't remember them stating what is used in the battery, and I would assume that lithium ion is part of it because that is like the main driver of batteries right now. That's the most efficient form of batteries that we create. Then how is the temperature with it? Like how are we able to have that robot in a well-maintained temperatured area? What is the max that robot can be in based off of its activity?
What's
How long
really
does it
unique
take to
about
charge?
this battery pack is it has all of the battery electronics integrated into a single PCB within the pack. So going on to sort of our brain, it's not in the head, but it's pretty close. Also in our torso, we have our central computer. So we still it's gonna do everything that a human brain does.
I too think with my stomach sometimes. Sorry, I had to say that.
Processing vision data, making split-second decisions based on multiple sensory inputs, and also communications. So to support communications, it's equipped with wireless connectivity as well as audio support. And then it also has hardware-level security features, which are important to protect both the robot and the people around the robot. So now that we have our sort of core, we're going to need some limbs on this guy. And we'd love to show you a little bit about our actuators and our fully functional hands as well.
So there are many similarities between a car and the robot when it comes to powertrain design. The most important thing that matters here is energy, mass, and cost. In the particular case, you see a car with 2 drive units. And the drive units are used in order to accelerate the car 0 to 60 miles per hour time or drive a city drive cycle. While the robot that has 28 actuators, it's not obvious what are the tasks at actuator level. So we have tasks that are higher level, like walking or climbing stairs or carrying a heavy object, which need to be translated into joint specs. The rotary actuator in particular has a mechanical clutch integrated on the high-speed side, angular contact ball bearing, and on the high-speed side, and on the low-speed side, a cross-roller bearing, and the gear train is a strain wave gear. There are 3 integrated sensors here and a bespoke permanent magnet machine. So our actuator is able to lift a half-ton, 9-foot concert grand piano.
Our fingers are driven by metallic tendons that are both flexible and strong. We have the ability to complete wide aperture power grasps while also being optimized for precision gripping of small, thin, and delicate objects. Some basic stats about our hand is that it has 6 actuators and 11 degrees of freedom. It has an in-hand controller, which drives the fingers and receives sensor feedback.
We're ported directly from
20 pounds. It can carry 20 pounds.
Situation. It's exactly the same occupancy network that we'll talk into a little bit more details later with the autopilot team that is now running on the bot here in this video. The only thing that changed really is the training data that we had to recollect. We're also trying to find ways to improve those occupancy networks using work made on neural radiance fields to get really great volumetric rendering of the bot's environments. For example, here, some machinery that the bot might have to interact with. So we've been training more neural networks to identify high-frequency features, key points within the bot's camera streams, and track them across frames over time as the bot navigates through its environment. And we're using those points to get a better estimate of the bot's pose and trajectory within its environment as it's walking. And this is a video of the motion control code running in the autopilot simulator showing the evolution of the robot's walk over time. And so as you can see,
Look at those legs.
And start accelerating as we unlock more joints and
Get
deploy more
legs.
techniques like arms balancing.
Optimus doesn't skip
We
leg
wanted
day.
to manipulate objects while looking as natural as possible, and also get there quickly. So what we've done is we've broken this process down into 2 steps. First is generating a library of natural motion references, or we could call them demonstrations. And then we've adapted these motion references online to the current real-world situation. So let's say we have a human demonstration of picking up an object. We can get a motion capture of that demonstration, which is visualized right here as a bunch of keyframes representing the locations of the hands, the elbows, the torso.
There's a pause. If somebody can tell me what kind of controllers this guy is using, it almost looks like it's an Oculus. I'm very, very curious. So if anyone has any history or expertise on that, let me know. But anyways.
We can map that to the robot using inverse kinematics. And if we collect a lot of these, now we have a library that we can work with. But a single demonstration is...
Just imagine being that person during the day where you walk in and they're like, hey, we need you to hold like all these different, we need you to strap in, have these different motion sensors, and hang on to these controllers so that we can track your movement and how to lift things. What a fun day, or what a fun week.
Not generalizable to the variation in the real world. For instance, this would only work for a box in a very particular location. So what we've also done is run these reference trajectories through a trajectory optimization program, which solves for where the hand should be, how the robot should balance during when it needs to adapt the motion to the real world. So for instance, if the box is in this location, then our optimizer will create this trajectory instead.
I think the first thing within the next few weeks is to get Optimus at least at par with Bumblebee, the other bot prototype you saw earlier, and probably beyond. We're also going to start focusing on the real use case at one of our factories and make this product a reality and change the entire economy. All of this was
emotional support.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that was the Tesla bot, or Optimus. Here are what some experts had to say. Am I blown away? No. Am I laughing? No. Christian Hubicki, a robotics professor at Florida State University, Seminoles, offered his thoughts in a Twitter thread, nothing like many others. That the Tesla team came a long way in about a year, but that the capabilities of Optimus actually shown on stage seem standard, but not mind-blowing for humanoids. And I agree with that. And I'll show you other ones that I have seen that are maybe a little more impressive. In his thread, Kubicki notes that Optimus Bot seems to use a walking method known in robotics as zero movement point, or ZMP. Though this is not confirmed by Tesla, this is a method of locomotion that's been in use for decades, deployed in famous bots like Honda's Osmo. When you watch Optimus, you can certainly see the resemblance in how its knees are bent in a semi-crouch, and it shifts its weight cautiously from one foot to another. Boogie notes that this method of walking is pretty safe but not mind-blowing in 2022. And part of his tweet, my take. 1. Impressed by the short turnaround to build a new humanoid robot and show it live. Hats off to the team. 2. The shown capabilities seem standard, but not mind-blowing for humanoids. 3. Zero idea on the reliability. Rag. I wonder if his Twitter account got blocked. I'll believe the price when my lab buys one. God. Please, please, please tell me his account had something happen once Elon took over. Alright, he also points out that another big question not answered by the presentation is reliability. How often does it fall down? You can't tell from the cool video or even a live demo, he says. Obviously, when it comes to putting robots in factories, reliability is a massive factor, as downtime anywhere in an assembly line can have a significant knock-on effect. An extraordinarily brave live demonstration of a Herculean effort that sadly lacks novelty and imagination. Damn. Will Jackson, CEO of Engineered Arts, told The Verge the first 2 prototypes of Optimus Bot were decidedly lacking, with no novelty in their design. Damn. There are very similar concepts they are very similar in concept to Honda's Osmo robots, the development of which is now abandoned. Like Jackson, the overall design is heavily built, clumsy, and power inefficient. The hands are very basic. The only redeeming feature is a clutch mechanism in the finger actuation. If you want to know how far they are from human level motion and capabilities, compare last year's reveal, a man in a robot suit, to this year, actual hardware. Jackson praised Tesla's AI work in general and dedication of the company's engineers, but questioned the very idea of building a humanoid robot for menial labor in the first place. I am amazed that Musk can address an audience so rapturously enamored with the idea of a humanoid and totally fail to recognize that their desire to interact with a robot is the killer application. Did he think that they were applauding because finally the world will have a humanoid robot that can lift a pipe in a car factory? Ooh. Oof. He concluded that the demo showed an extraordinarily brave live demonstration. Okay, a novelty, and that hopefully we will see the course of correction by the time of next year's event. An impressive display, but lots of unanswered questions. Jonathan Atkin, a roboticist and teacher at the University of Sheffield in the UK, told The Verge that it was an interesting demo and that the biggest thing is the progress they've made in the time that they've been working on things, but also noted that there were lots of unanswered questions about the robot's capabilities and the exact nature of the demos. Atkin points out that the pre-recorder videos of Optimus showed an umbilical cord attached to the robot, for example, that for me to ask 2 big questions, power and communication/control, was the cord there for safety or for power and instructions? Okay. It looks like it's just a cord that clips on. It was noted on stage that this was the first time the robot had walked without a tether. From the presentation, it was good to see the range of activities that the robot was working on, says Atkin. Although they were relatively limited. The notes that footage of the robot moving components in a Tesla factory workstation were impressive, but lacked context that would explain how meaningful the work was. I would like to see more information on how big a component and how general this is to their manufacturing process. Yeah, I find it interesting. Are you launching features for the sake of features or actually to solve problems? Fair. Because they're showing that the robot can lift up to 20 pounds, but then also with what is built inside the robot, it is able to lift a 9-foot grand piano. 9-foot long grand piano. So maybe I'm missing something on that part. Cynthia Jung, heard of product robotic logistics firm +1, Robotics, live tweeted their thoughts about the presentation, questioning the company's focus on copying the human form so closely and its planned future business model. When Musk says will involve selling robots outright rather than selling their services like many robot startups do. I think Elon Musk seems to be enamored of the Boston Dynamics approach towards robots, form over function, as opposed to what a lot of other folks are working on. Function informs form, tweeted Jung. Jung noted that the presentation focused a lot on how the team had made Optimus buck, but that solving this challenge wouldn't necessarily solve real-world problems. They also pointed out that the robot's 5-fingered hand was not necessarily as good as simpler 2- or 3-fingered pinchers or vacuum systems. There's a reason why all the warehouse startups don't use hand-like manipulation mechanisms, tweeted Jung. Elsewhere, Jung praised Musk for sharing the spotlight with his team of engineers and said the company made some cool actuators and simulators, but Jung's overall judgment on the technical achievement was damning. None of this is cutting edge. Hire some PhDs and go do some robotic conference. Go do some robotics conferences, tweeting him. So far, they have built a nice platform to do the research. Okay, I like where this guy's going. Speaking to The Verge via email, robotics professor Henrik Christensen, the University of California, San Diego, said the mechanical design and walking skills of Optimus were solid, but that there is little innovation in Tesla's approach. Like Jung, Christensen points out that Optimus' 5-finger hand design was probably unnecessary. Not sure you need 5 fingers. I did not see a solid argument here beyond hand waving. And he notes that there was a lot of missing simply from Tesla's presentation. There is no real evidence that it can do basic navigation, grasping, manipulation. It is a good initial design, and it is impressive how far they have come in 9 months, but the innovation beyond Boston Dynamics and the agility is very limited, said Christensen. So far, they have built a nice platform for doing research. The good news is that Musk is not afraid of thinking big and investing. As such, I expect to see real innovation here in the future. I do too. As we all know, Elon Musk is very big in big ideas and has the money to back the funding to support those ideas. So I don't see that being a big concern, especially like look what they've done in 9 months. They built a robot, and they built 2 robots. Technically, they have built 2 robots, and have been able to showcase 2 of them. Though they have limited motion, they've been able to display something. But again, these robots and what they are potentially going to be doing, I'm not impressed with, because there are other robots already being used and showcased that are far more impressive. And I wanted to show you them. So I have gone ahead and I have made like a little playlist that I found on YouTube of these, and it is freaking crazy.
Best Buy Total Tech, a membership that brings you
Probably.
As New York Times best-selling author and robotics engineer Daniel H. Wilson said, "There are an endless number of things to discover about robotics. A lot of it is just too fantastic for people to believe. Indeed, we're conditioned to think robots are always in some distant, far-flung future. With an endless stream of sci-fi films, books, and shows depicting a robotic future, it's hard to accept it's actually happening. However, the ingenious innovations pouring out of robotics labs around the world are heralding a new age of advanced AI robots. Far from dumb machines, these increasingly human-like automatons have silicone minds that process faster and faster by the year. In this video, I'll explore the robots at the bleeding edge of artificial intelligence. These are the first generation of robots set to change the world as we know it.
Have you been interested in
Number 10,
humanoids?
Digit. Meet Digit. This 5-foot-tall robot designed and built by Agility Robotics is the next step in robot innovation. Developed as a successor to Cassie, a small bipedal robot able to run and walk, Digit is almost frightening in its human-like capabilities. Where Cassie was a little more than a pair of legs, Digit has a fully functioning humanoid body. Weighing 42.2 kilograms, Digit can navigate its environment semi-autonomously with the help of LiDAR and other sensors. It can, for instance, carry boxes upstairs or deliver packages to your door. This new capability is down to Digit's 4-degree of freedom arms that allow Digit to not only balance but also carry and manipulate objects, like opening a door or stacking boxes weighing up to 18 kilograms or 40 pounds.
40
Powering
pounds!
this ingenious machine are 2 multi-core CPUs. This powerful robot brain allows the processing of such complex actions in real time. It won't be long before Digit is delivering packages to your door. Number 9.
That might be what Tesla and Elon Musk are going with for Optimus, but overall, like, that robot was so much more simple and was so much more capable and more agile than the Optimus. Imagine if they had followed that form. Yes, it is absolutely crazy. And I will say, like, once upon a time, I was trying to go back to school for engineering. And I was in a calculus class, and I was doing very, very well in calculus. But overall, when you think about situation-wise, what you have to do with math in order to formulate these, formulate what that robot or what those mechanisms are going to do inside the robot, it's insane. It is very, very insane. If you're someone that, like, you understand math, but you can't think of math very much in, like, 3D, because that's pretty much what you're doing in calculus. So you're thinking of it in 3D and how it's going to action and reaction. You're kind of fucked. And that's literally what the robotics are. Needless to say, for me, once I hit trigonometry in calculus, I was like, fuck it, I'm out. Nope. I love math. I will appreciate math. I will appreciate everybody who does engineering. It's just not for me. I am more of a statistics person. Once trigonometry is kicked in, nope, nope, can't do it. But anyways, back to this. Pepper. Pepper is cute. Pepper is very popular in Japan.
Pepper. Far from planning world domination, Pepper is an empathic robot. This 4-foot-tall machine is the brainchild of SoftBank Robotics, built with the express purpose of reading emotions. In fact, Pepper can understand 15 languages, recognize when a person is talking, and give an appropriate response. It does so using 2 HD cameras, a 3D depth sensor,
Romanes, much appreciation for you and your diligence and studying. I have so much respect for you all as engineers or studying engineers to be able to do this, because without you all, we wouldn't be able to see anything like this come to life. And for people like me that are just overall fascinated and appreciate the art, we would be bored twiddling our thumbs without it. And nor would we have conversations like this. So also with anything that you have, like through your studies, and experiences of what you see in the labs, please put it in the chat, because I have so many questions and I need them answered.
as well as 2 sonars and 6 lasers to help guide it through crowds. Launched in 2014, Pepper's first batch of 1,000 units sold out in just 60 seconds. However, despite
Okay, well, all good. Your English, from what I have been reading,
selling
is
27,000
very good, and hopefully I do not disappoint, because even as someone who is a native English speaker myself, sometimes I even mix up my words. So hopefully we could be of a good relationship, or as they say in science, a good symbiotic relationship.
units, SoftBank reported they would pause production due to weak demand. Pepper was not quite the emotional genius SoftBank had promised. Still, Pepper's maneuverability was on full display at a professional baseball game during the COVID lockdowns.
Look, this is so cool.
The robot's 20 motors, located in the shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, hip, and knee, whirred as 100 Peppers danced in sync to raise public spirits. However, not everyone was impressed, with some branding the display creepy. Number 8. Spot. Few robotics companies amaze.
Yeah, Japan always does some very unique things. It's no surprise that Japan is far more ahead in using robots or droids, or however we want to categorize them, in everyday life. They have a more synchronized system with it. And I'm from the US, so the US is not so much in that same realm. We do things more on like heavy hydraulic machines for industrial usage. And then also in the home, you know, like the robot vacuums, like that's a big thing. We love to sell the robot vacuums, but it also doesn't help that Americans are also seen as lazy. So I'm not gonna lie, like having a robot vacuum helps me to like navigate that. Yes, Japan is so technically advanced, and gosh, I cannot wait to be able to visit Japan. It's on my bucket list of places to visit. And their view of like their culture is so nice to view, as in they want to take care of for the team or for the country or for everyone, and not just for themselves. And it's so cool to see that culture be moved into their displays as well. Okay, Brazil. Gotcha. What is it like on the level of technology for you all?
Is more than Boston Dynamics. In their 2020 viral video, it was the humanoid Atlas that stole.
Oh my gosh, I think this is my favorite droid. This whole video. Have you seen that supposedly they have made a music video based off of their robots? People thought it was CGI. I might have to go and find it. Yes. Okay, we'll find it. We'll find it.
Stole the show.
Look at
However, Spot, a nimble four-legged robot, is no less impressive. So, how does it work?
I'm sorry. I gotta go back. I'm sorry. Spot. I think about TikTok and the whole Wednesday dance.
No. However, Spot, a nimble four-legged robot, is no less impressive. So, how does it work? Drawing up their experience with early quadrupedal robots like Big Dog and Cheetah, Spot uses 5 onboard cameras to inspect the world around it, giving it a 360-degree view of the terrain. It has 12 degrees of freedom and a balance system so strong that the little robot would remain upright even if you kicked it. Nor is this dog
It's too
slow.
cute to kick.
It can move 1.6 meters per second and carry weights up to 14 kilograms. Plus, with a battery life of 90 minutes, this helpful little robot is perfect for inspecting dangerous sites, such as after a natural disaster. In fact,
sweet.
Spot has even been tested alongside British Royal Air Force service members. And in November 2019, Massachusetts State Police announced the use of Spot Mini as a robot cop in the unit's bomb squad. Companies are also developing devices to fit onto Spot's back, such as Trimble, which collects highly accurate scans of the surrounding area, with applications in construction and beyond.
Just imagine if all of these companies, like, imagine if Boston Dynamics teamed up with Sony for their cameras. Or even the Insta360, if you know what I'm talking about, that small camera where it'll just do like a whole 360 view. Imagine if we put that on this robot, and the AI was able to recognize from behind as well, and recognize that something was coming up behind it, or even to the side. How much better maybe it could grip. Just imagine if all of these companies just like merged and like worked together in so many different ways.
Number 7.
This
HRP
crazy.
5P. HRP 5P might have a name reminiscent of a Terminator.
Of course,
but this advanced
Japan.
humanoid prototype may one day replace humans in heavy-duty labor. Developed in Japan, HRP 5P is one of the few robots around average human height at 5 foot 10 inches or 182 centimeters tall. Moreover, its limbs have an incredible degree of movement. Its arms, for example, each boast 8 degrees of freedom, with 37 degrees of freedom in total. But it's not just its physicality that's impressive. AIST, the institute behind HRP 5P, also focused on improved intelligence. This lumbering giant can recognize objects and understand the scale of the environment around it. In one demonstration,
My first year teaching, lesson planning was
ads.
and realized
HRP 5P is seen picking up a gypsum board, carrying it over to a wall, and screwing it in, thanks to a built-in electric screwdriver. It's hoped this incredible innovation will one day assemble houses, buildings, aircraft, and even ships. Number 6.
Okay, so as somebody that works in a more industrial manner, I do have comments about that robot, and I do have some questions and concerns. Because when you start looking at manual labor jobs more, there's that view of OSHA. OSHA comes in to fact a lot. And so I wonder with this one, will those robots help with OSHA violations? Could they prevent OSHA violations happening? And then also, would this increase the potential amount of OSHA violations? Because now we're talking about another heavy duty machinery working on site, maybe next to a human. And then also, would workers that are doing the same job have to be trained in the overall maintenance of that robot? Or are they going to have someone that specializes in that robot's maintenance be on site? And if that's the case, that would help increase jobs for robot maintenance. But my other concern is if we're looking at putting these robots in construction sites and helping build, there's something to understand. And I don't know like around the spectrum with Japan, but I know in American construction sites, at times it can get very messy. It can get very dirty. It can get very dusty from the sawdust and maybe loose particles like screws on the floor that can really mess with your step, or something that can just kind of come out in your peripheral vision. How is the robot going to be able to work around that? Are the joints going to be able to handle the sawdust, and would stepping on a screw mess with the balance of the robot and then it falls, and then who takes the liability, or who takes account of that robot falling and getting damaged? Is that going to be the construction site, or is that going to be if it's a third party that they get the robot from, is it going to be the third party? These are all different. Are we opening up a whole new spectrum of lawyers, like robotic lawyers? Is this potentially what would happen? But I see the opportunity, but also there would be so much more that needs to go into it. And from the view of that robot, first of all, the robot's super cool looking, but look at how much opening you have of this robot with the vents, the wires. You would have to be able to cover the robot's internals, which also very strong brackets. It looks like very strong forms around it that it would be easy to cover in some way. However, it's just something to consider when you start looking at the hinge of the legs and also the feet. It has to be able to move, but the protection for the robot, and then also the protection of the people. Also, if they're saying that it's going to be able to help in construction, there's no way that overall efficiency is going to be able to fully replace humans, because our speed overall is more than the robot. Because the robot, though they do incredible work in processing and can help with maneuvering and lifting so much more weight, they're just not going to be at this time as fast as humans, especially if they have been skilled and they have been doing this for several years. I mean, we saw how slowly the robot moved that plywood sheet and then turned it to be able to mount it. But also, perk, if that plywood was very heavy, maybe that is something per standard of construction is a team lift. The robot is able to do it independently. So, you know, we gotta look at two different spectrums here. All right, next robot. That is true. One defective gear. And I think about too, so where I work in a warehouse, and we use a lot of machinery. I shouldn't say machinery. They're vehicles. They're like clamp lifts as well as forklifts. Not the traditional forklift, like a fork truck, but they're more like a. It's almost as if we work for the Empire. They almost look like a robotic scooter, and the forks are on the bottom, and then you can pick them up. So there's a lift, and then there's also a picker where you stand on a platform and then you hit a button and it'll raise you. Every single one of these machines has a daily checklist. And if it does not pass, then, you do not go through. You, depending on that unit, could be a lockout tagout. What will happen at that point when a robot has a lockout tagout? How quickly can you get that unit to go and get fixed to be verified? And then also, what is considered safe to work and not safe to work? And then in that point too, would it be safe to work in certain areas but not the other? Then that's where circle around. OSHA violation, lawyers, held liable, like held accountable. These are the questions I have. This is why I call it wired thoughts. All right, next robot.
Parthian General Serena, this humanoid robot was produced by the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers in Iran. Its first incarnation was Serena 1, a small but impressive robot capable of playing football and speaking Persian. It's come a long way since then. The fourth incarnation, Serena 4, was officially released in 2019 and was a significant upgrade. Where Serena 1 had only 8 degrees of freedom, Serena 4 boasts 43, with high dexterity in the hands, meaning Serena can grasp objects using its whole body, or pick up small objects using its hands alone. Moreover, this new version isn't just more advanced, it's also bigger. At 1.7 meters tall and weighing 68 kilograms, it's one of the largest humanoid robots in the world. One of the main goals for Serena 4 project was a better AI. Indeed, the robot can detect and count faces and objects, recognize activities, listen to speech, and even talk. With each new generation a leap forward in advancements, Serena 5 may be the most advanced robot in the world. Number 5. Aquanaut.
This is so cool.
Aquanaut is unlike any robot you've seen before. Gone are the humanoid body and friendly faces. This aquatic robot is built for the high seas. At first glance, Aquanaut looks like a small, sleek submarine. But once transformed, 2 arms appear, ready to work on deep water infrastructure.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a good night. And this will also be displayed as a VOD for, I believe, 6 days. And then I will also post it, not every day. I'm trying to create a schedule, but this will, next time I will be on for sure is Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. But this video, if you want to continue finishing it, will be a VOD. On Saturday, I will be streaming The Sims 4. I've been doing the 100 Baby Challenge. This is something, wired thoughts, that I'm trying to do on Wednesdays, surrounded by technology, as well as maybe other topics to talk about. And then also, if you ever wanted to refer back to this, once it is posted on Twitch, then I will download it, and then I will post it onto my YouTube channel. So then it'll permanently be there. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Are you wanting this video or like even the Tesla one? Yeah, I can do that. I got you. All right, just submitted it in chat. The Verge is a really cool website where they do a lot of tech articles. A lot of people have said they like it. And it's been a pleasure too. Best of luck with any classes that you may have tomorrow. And thanks for tuning in and the follow. I look forward to seeing you in the chat again. Especially with stuff like this, because I need answers. Bye.
With minimal supervision from a human operator.
Ooh, I think my headphones just cut off. I've been having issues with these headphones. Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties, as always.
Indeed, Aquanaut's specs is more than a little impressive. With a maximum speed of 6 knots, the aquatic robot can speed along scanning the seabed. It has a large payload capacity of 91 kilograms and can keep going for a maximum of 75 hours. However, it's the arms, or manipulators, that are most impressive. With more than 6 degrees of freedom and 360 degrees of continuous rotation, Aquanaut can survey an area, repair oil pipelines, or manage aquaculture products, all without risking a single human life. The marine machine works on the Robot Operating System, or ROS, widely used across the industry. But with a lack of direct wired connection to home base.
Oh my gosh, another ad. So my question too is, how deep can the Aquanaut go? Because of water pressure? I wonder if it can go high, like go deeper in water than
Aquanaut is vastly more autonomous than other robots. As manufacturer Nauticus Robotics put it, Aquanaut is the future of underwater robotics. Number 4, Stuntronic Robot.
Okay, this one is fucking badass. I don't know if anyone else has seen the video for this, but this is insane. This is like, oh my gosh. Like, it makes me feel bad if the robot can do it, and I can't.
Imagine a robot with the agility and grace of an acrobat. A robot able to glide through the air and perform a perfect backflip. You don't have to imagine it. Stuntronic Robot created by Disney Engineering is just that.
Of course it's created by
Nicknamed
Disney,
Stickman, this realistic robotic figure is capable of death-defying feats.
Is this
using
how...
sophisticated onboard sensors, this robot can
I don't
perform
know. I just
aerial
imagine
flips,
Spider-Man.
twists,
It's just pure
and
Spider-Man
poses
because
with
of how it's
repeatability
moving
and
around.
precision. Albeit the
And it
team
doesn't help with
has
the
yet to
tether.
perfect
It
the
almost looks like
landing.
a spider
Part of the
webbing.
challenge of developing
And
a
the agility.
90-pound robot capable of
It's
somersaults
90
while
pounds.
60 feet in the air was the conservation of angular momentum to achieve precision aerial motion control. To solve the problem, the robot uses a complex system of accelerometers, gyroscopes, and laser rangefinders to judge distance and speed, thereby calculating its trajectory. This advanced and innovative solution allows Stickman to control its rotation and orientation in the air.
Imagine being the person at Disney when people are like, hey, what do you do for work? Oh, I work in stunts at Disney. Oh, do you perform the stunts? No, I operate the robot that does the stunts. What? Crazy.
It's expected one day
I wonder if they put it
Stickman
in a
will
green suit.
wow Disney audiences with these incredible feats. Number 3, Handle. Handle isn't just the future of robotics. It's the future of the industry.
This is what I would like to see in the industrial world, because I could see this being very beneficial in places like where I work, because we have a lot of heavy packages or heavy units overall, and clamps, the clamps that we use that are motorized by people can provide too much pressure on the unit. So I wonder if the suction, just like how this guy uses it, it uses like a vacuum system. If that would be better, or if they could create something where like it hovers in and like sections to it that way. I don't know. But the way this maneuvers, I can see this being very nice.
Speeding around
Especially at
on
UPS
2
or
wheels,
FedEx, something
this
like that.
Segway-like robot can pick and stack
Look how
boxes
fast
weighing
it
up to
goes.
45 kilograms using a vacuum arm. Handle is like no robot you've seen before. Rather than sticking with legs, the Boston Dynamics team reverted back to
Of course
wheels.
it's by Boston
Perfect
Dynamics.
for jetting around the factory floor. It also reduces complexity by
Look,
decreasing
it goes
the degrees
downstairs.
of freedom. That may sound like a bad thing, but the purpose of Handle is a practical and functional
doesn't-
robot perfectly suited for logistical tasks. That's not to say it isn't advanced.
This
As
tricks.
Boston Dynamics explained, much of the control used in Handle leverages our team's experience with the quadruped and biped robots. This software is not exactly the same, but the balance and dynamic control principles have a lot in common and share the same physics-based roots. With a range of 24 kilometers and its 2-wheel design, Handle is small enough to maneuver around tight factory corners and can travel far enough for a complete factory shift. Number
Complete
2.
a factory shift.
Atlas.
Again, what is that factory shift? Especially if it's using a suction. Like, how much draining of a battery is it? How big is the battery? What do you use to charge it? What's it like to replace the battery on that? That's another thing. And again, this also goes into the conversation of lithium-ion batteries, kind of like what we talked about a few weeks ago.
Atlas.
Okay,
Perhaps
Atlas.
the most famous
Atlas is super
humanoid
cool.
robot in the world, Atlas combines 28 hydraulic joints and a lightweight body to produce fluid and graceful movements unthinkable
The most
only a
agile
decade
robot
before.
that
Atlas
is
can
out.
jump,
Look at that.
walk, run, backflip, even dance. It achieves these impressive movements in 3 ways. First, it has a vast library of behaviors, or template motions, it can use when constructing complex routines. Second, it uses real-time perception to detect its environment with advanced sensors. Finally, it uses model predictive control to predict how its motion evolves over time, adjusting accordingly. In one video, Atlas stumbles and wobbles only to regain balance. You can't pre-program that. In fact, Atlas is so lifelike that many assumed this backflipping machine's viral videos were CGI. But it was all real. With a top speed of 2.5 meters.
That has to be one of the most terrifying things. Like, imagine, like, we started selling these to the public, and like, you have a neighbor that's not so much like inclined to technology as like most of us, or some of us are, like me. And I just have a robot running in my backyard, or like I casually just have this robot running next to me as like a running buddy. Could you imagine how many looks and like fears people would have? Just like, oh my god. All right, sorry.
Per second and weighing just 89 kilograms, Atlas is one of the most mobile and physically capable robots globally. Next, Boston Dynamics aims to improve Atlas's automation, allowing it to conduct routines without the extensive pre-planning and orchestration of previous versions. Number 1. A mecha. A mecha is alive, or at least looks like it. Unlike other humanoid robots that focus on physical motion, a mecha is at the cutting edge of human expression. Using 17 individual motors, this not quite human robot can produce surprisingly vivid and emotive expressions. Produced by Engineered Arts, A mecha uses artificial intelligence and machine learning systems to understand human expression and behaviors, evolving and growing as it interacts. It employs an array of cameras, depth sensors, LiDAR, and microphones to detect our expressions and movements, blending this information together and responding appropriately. It's light years ahead of its competition. But perhaps the strangest thing about a mecha is the gray plastic face. After trying to create more human-like robots in previous generations, Engineered Arts learned that such machines are often viewed as slightly sinister, falling into the uncanny valley of human appearance. Ameca is also continuously improving. Being modular by design, the entire robot is easily upgradable. In time,
I think that's cool to know, like, if this ever came to market, that this company would be able to just help you upgrade certain parts of it. That way you don't have to fully buy a whole new model. Like it seemed like that may be the case for Optimus with Tesla, is that they're like 6 months in already, they have a new model that they're showing. And there may be another model that will be ready for selling. But with Ameca, Ameca is going to be fully modular. And I actually like the gray face. The gray face actually seems more welcoming to me in many ways. And because when you start to get to like real humans, or like real humanoids, or they look like real humans, it starts to kind of be like, yeah, okay. Like, you look like a person, you're talking like a person, and a lot of people can find it unsettling. But there's almost a sense of, like, with Ameca, you can just, I guess because you can see that, yes, this is a robot, because of the gray face, it makes it more comforting or understanding to the human mind that this is not a person. This is an actual robot. But the robot is able to communicate with me with human-like features.
The team hopes to install movement capabilities so that Ameca will be the ultimate walking, talking machine. But what do you think?
Friendly.
Are we on the verge of a robotic revolution? Or do you remain unconvinced by the world's most advanced?
But yeah, so that is one. And then here is something else. The most realistic humanoids.
Before you renew Amazon Prime, watch this. Look,
Another
I love
ad.
Amazon
I don't have
Prime.
ad blocker.
Free
Can
2-day
you tell?
shipping is.
It's all too easy to think of robots as a far-off prediction. Despite more than a century of books, films, and TV shows depicting mechanical automatons helping or hunting humanity, we're programmed to think of robots as something futuristic, something forever distant. Nothing could be further from the truth. In the past 2 decades, rapid advancements in machine intelligence and robotics have developed a growing group of frighteningly humanoid robots. More than robotics arms on a production line, these robots are at the cutting edge of what we're capable of, and a sure sign of things to come. In this video, I'll explore 5 of the most realistic humanoid robots in the world, discovering if we're on the precipice of a new robotic age. Number 5. Geminoid DK. The key to a humanoid robot is the humanoid part. They need to look, sound, and act like us. For Geminoid DK, a robot developed at Aalborg University in Denmark, it's no problem. Designed to replicate the movements and facial expressions in a lifelike manner, you'd be forgiven for mistaking Geminoid DK for a real person. In fact, the robot was modeled on Professor Henrik Schaffe. Alongside a team of Japanese researchers, they built the head and body to replicate Schaffe as much as possible. The professor even donated some of his own hair for the robot's wig. The result is a level of accuracy unparalleled in previous humanoid robots. Frighteningly so. As an assistant of Schaffe commented, "When we saw it, we couldn't stop staring at it. It took a few days for us to get used to it." Yet beneath Geminoid's silicone skin, it's 100% machine. Through external cameras and microphones positioned around the robot, Geminoid perceives the world. Although, strictly speaking, Geminoid isn't the one perceiving the world. Rather, Shafe controls the robot from a distance, like telepresence. Geminoid DK has 5 levels of function: sleeping, online, idle, lip synchronization, and face synchronization. Each is more human-like than the one before, using a complex array of pneumatic actuators in the eyes, forehead, eyebrows, eyelids, and cheeks. Shafe controls the robot's complete facial structure. It's a remarkable achievement.
Imagine being one of those people where they're like, hey, we want to commemorate you in some way. And they're like, we don't want to do a wax figure, though. We don't want to do a statue. We don't even want to name a building after you. We want to build a robot that looks like you. Okay. Sign me up. Let's look at Nadine. This is kind of crazy.
Social robot. Continuing the theme of robotic professors, meet Nadine. Modeled on Professor Nadia Magnanat Thalmann, Nadine isn't merely a mechanical machine. She's a socially intelligent robot, capable of greeting you, enjoying a conversation, and remembering it going forwards. So, she'll be able to pick up your conversation where you left off. She can answer questions in several languages and simulate a certain amount of emotion.
This robot can carry on a conversation better than maybe most humans. Could you imagine that? Like, you have a conversation with this robot, maybe come back in a week, and then continue that conversation. I can hardly remember what I had for lunch like 2 days ago.
Even more impressive, Nadine
it.
interacted with more than 100,000 visitors at the Art Science Museum in Singapore. The exhibition, titled Human Plus, The Future of Our Species, was only the beginning. Since, Nadine has met with leading people, from Deutsche Bank to the Prime Minister of India, His Excellency Narendra Modi. Today, she's working 9 to 5 as a customer service agent at AIA Singapore. Ask her any question you'd typically ask a customer service agent, and she'll handle it, regardless of whether you're speaking English, German, Hindi, or Japanese.
She can help in customer service. This is a robot doing a real-life person's job, and I think this is where people are the most concerned that robots will start taking over the workforce. I would love to see how this robot actually interacts with people that are super furious with whatever situation with the company. Like, if you're anybody who has worked in customer service in any way, customer service, hospitality, or even food service, like, you'll know there are some customers that will just blow up. They're overly frustrated, or even for no reason. It's no fault of yours at all. They just go crazy. So I wonder how the AI of this robot handles that. It may even be better. What if they say, "Oh, no, this person's frustrated. Send them to Nadine. Nadine can take care of them." Because there's no emotion to effect of it.
The secret to Nadine's success is her programmed personality. It's odd to talk of a robot with a personality. After all, isn't it all gears and circuitry? Yet, Nadine's demeanor changes based on the conversation and utilizing a total of 27 degrees of freedom in facial and upper body movements. With such social flexibility, Nadine is paving the way for social robots to assist in helping people with special needs navigate the world. Indeed, Thalmann predicts robots will one day be companions for people living with dementia. As countries worldwide face challenges of an aging population, social robots can be one.
The patience that a robot of this matter could have for somebody with dementia could be very significant. especially with Nadine, who can remember a casual conversation within like a week or two and pick it back up, is so beneficial for people with dementia because their short-term memory is just gone, or it's not as avid depending on their degree of dementia. So that can be super, super beneficial. Let's see. Atlas comes back on. We've already seen Atlas. I don't want to show you something we've already seen. I don't think we've seen this one. This is.
Do you love getting
the
high,
Tesla
but
bot.
Smoking hurts your lungs? I've got you covered. You need.
The rise of humanoid robots seems all but inevitable. But whether robots come to help or rule depends on the next few years. It's something clearly on Elon Musk's mind. Despite warning about the dangers of AI and robotics for almost a decade, Musk unveiled the Tesla bot in August 2021. The specs were impressive. At 5'8" and 125 pounds.
Yeah, we know it's not going to look like that though. And then Amica is on here. So yeah, there's a couple of robots out there that are very realistic, and there are other companies that are falling into this even more. Oops, sorry. Not a shameless plug there. Yeah, overall, what do you guys think of robots or humanoids in that matter? It's almost like we're moving closer and closer to a world of Star Wars in that realm, where we could just have that system of one day working side by side with a droid. Especially like Amica or a Tesla bot or anything like that. It's almost like working with C-3PO. Or Nadine. Imagine working with Nadine. You just have this you have this frustrating customer and you're like, hey, send them to Nadine. Nadine understands them way better. But I think there's also the realm of people afraid that these robots are going to take over the world or take over their positions. I don't think where we are, especially in focusing in that realm, that is going to be an issue. Because as of right now, I think the world is so focused on going completely green with electric vehicles that the idea of droids fully moving forward and taking over other tasks is not the forefront of what society is currently working on. Though important, and there is funding to back it in some ways, based off of like heavy articles, or what articles I am able to find that are the most up to date. It's not that prominent. It's not very updated. I mean, when I started to research this, I started seeing articles flooding from like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's a lot that happens in 4 or 5 years and half a decade. By that time, like, I don't know, like, one hydraulic system is no longer going to be beneficial to another hydraulic system. Or they decided that this component is no longer going to be good, and they need to go to this component. So there's a lot of things to account for. And as well, like, Japan has been living in this society of using robots and droids, and everybody, or their economy, has been very supported. And we still, in a lot of ways, for other countries, look up to Japan and how they are doing their society. or their culture, their way of life, or you know how they're going about things. They can be a really big example for some of that. I think we are closer to it than people believe, or they don't want to necessarily believe it, because when we think of droids or humanoids, we think of like the Tesla robot, or we think of Nadine, or we think of the other one that people memed of, Jenna Marbles, like looking like whenever she had the bald cap on and she did the eyelashes. You guys know what I'm talking about. But that's not the case. We have so many other things that emulate that for us. Like I have said, our robot vacuums. We no longer need to necessarily control a vacuum in order to clean our home. Same with the robot mops. Now there are robot mops. Now those robot vacuums are also mops. Now you can autonomously mop your floors. And a robot does it based off of LiDAR, AI, camera systems. You can also monitor your home with these droids. Like you can set them up and they will monitor the home for you at certain times. There are also robot lawnmowers. Lawnmowers do this, for goodness sakes. We have Tesla. Hey, how you doing? Yes, I am a nerd and I'm proud of it. You also joined in on this, so you're a nerd too. Welcome to the nerds. But what else? What else is like a droid that we use? Oh my gosh. It's in our pocket. It's in our hands. Our phones. Our phones are our biggest droid, our biggest assistant. We've had these things for who knows how long now? When did the first iPhone come out? 2001? When did the first iPhone come out? Anyways, they've been with us. Okay? They've been with us longer than we want to admit. And we've been comfortable with it longer than we'd like to admit. It's just now we're coming out with different ways of having them be with us. And they're displayed in different ways. And it's happening in so many different ways that it's a little shocking to people. It's a change they weren't ready for. But it's happening. Old enough to talk about this stuff. What I thought. So, with that being said, that is all that I have on this topic and that I have to share. And I hope that there was a form of shining light, or maybe you found comfort in somebody else sharing interests of this topic, and you don't feel alone anymore when you talk about it at work with people. This will also be up on my YouTube channel later on. So as for now, it will also be a VOD, but I am going to wrap up here. So I hope you all are having a great day, a great night. I hope you all continue to have so. Also, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. It means a lot to me that you decided to follow on my video, especially with the topic. Not many people talk about this stuff or care to even listen to it in so many ways, especially with all the 20 questions that I have. Hey, thanks for the follow. So knowing that, you know, you did come on to my stream and also wanted to listen and contribute in lots of ways, it's awesome. And I love having a community to build on and talk about this stuff more. Because when I talk about this stuff at home or like at work, people are like, "Fish, what are you talking about?" Like, I don't know. You lost me at like 3 paragraphs ago when you said Tesla's making a robot. But anyways, thank you again. I will be streaming again on Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be continuing the 100 Baby Challenge. Oh my gosh, we raised 2 sets of twins and we got through such a crazy hump. That is still up. Oh, that was a struggle. That was such a struggle. But hopefully this next one will not be as bad. I am planning another Wired Thoughts next Wednesday. So I'm thinking about either talking about artificial intelligence or what has come out at CES, the top stuff at CES, because CES is super cool to me. And hopefully next year, I can go to it, because I have been saying that I wanted to go to CES for years, and then the pandemic happened. Top stuff at CES, you got it. We will do CES stuff. So thank you for the input. I will definitely be looking into that. And I know, especially with CES, there's going to be way more articles to research on that and to open up. That stream, I could stream about that for hours. All right, but as for now, I will leave this here. I will see you all Saturday if you are tuning in. Otherwise, I will see you all on the internet soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.